shout out cousin Glenn. He just gave us a donation, Shane. I think Venables, this is his words, I think Brent Venables needs to win at least 8 to keep his job after 2025. Boomer sooner, says cousin Glenn. So let's go over to Oklahoma. And this is one of those graphics I was talking about, Shane. I got us some Venables up here.
It's never good if there's a graphic for your coach.
Yeah, things did not go great this year, Shane. 6 and 7. He's been a head coach for 3 years now.
Yeah.
And twice he's gone 6 and 7. And one of those was in garbage ass Big 12. Now, again, first year SEC. There was a lot of injuries. Again, we could sit here and make excuses for all these coaches.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, I think this guy may be on the hottest seat in the entire damn SEC. So, obviously, I got to go 5 if I'm saying that for old Brent Venables. The fact that they whooped Alabama's ass, you could sit here and say, well, they got a team on the rise. Well, I mean, that was about the only highlight.
Yeah.
Aside from Auburn shooting itself in the foot. I mean, Tulane turned out to be pretty good. I don't think any Oklahoma fans, giving old Venables a pat on the back for beating Tulane. You know what I mean? I mean, these are games you're expected to win. You're expected to compete for championships. And, we're sitting here, we're year 4, Oklahoma, and we got cousin Glenn out here saying, hey, if we can get to 8, we can keep them. Like, hell, that ain't good enough at Oklahoma. I mean, the standard should be in a 12-team playoff is competing for the playoff annually.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. And when you think of Oklahoma, you think of the Heisman Trophy winners and the national championships and all the success that they've had out there. But, you came over here to SEC and honestly, it was just embarrassing. It was embarrassing to talk about. It was embarrassing to coach up. I felt right after that Houston game, we started making excuses, and those excuses kept compounding and compounding. And was there some good stuff at the end? Absolutely. I feel like the Alabama thing was a big one, but then your team gets pillaged in the portal, and you lose yet another coordinator. So. I'm kind of right there with you, man. I want to put 5. The only reason I'm hesitant to put 5 is the money, but this is I think. Let me ask you this, because he asked the question: if he gets to 8 wins, knowing the buyout, would you keep him?
They go 8 and 5.
If they go 8 and. Well,
8 and 4.
Shit. let's say 8 and 4 during the regular season.
Yeah. They'll probably keep him, but buddy, I mean, we're sitting here saying, what if? I mean, look at their schedule here.
Yeah.
Again, that Michigan game will be critical. Thankfully, you're getting it at home.
Yeah.
But it'll really be that Auburn at home. And Auburn looks to be much improved.
Mm-hmm.
Can you beat Auburn? I mean, you better, because after that, you got Texas, you got at South Carolina, you got Ole Miss at home, you got at Tennessee, you got at Alabama, you got Mizzou, and you got LSU. I mean, I don't think they're going to be favored as things today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're favored one time starting with the Texas game.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But if they but again, man, money talks, bullshit walks. And I just feel like I think like there's some buzzers, like New Year's resolution in Oklahoma was to save some money for a buyout, and there's a lot of money to be added up at the end of the season, and then you got to compound that with helping the new coach get some NIL. So, I'm going to say 4. I'm going to say 4 right now. I just don't see it happening, man. I really don't. Short of a missing a bowl game situation. I surely this team doesn't miss a bowl next year, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. 4.
What do you think? Want all these guys back, don't you, Shane?
Know. I feel like the times are changing, man. Not just with these kids and the portal and the transfers and all that stuff, but I think coaches and contracts are going to get a little bit. I think there's going to be some easier buyouts in the future because nobody wants to be locked in. It's like a mortgage that you bought 2%, you know? It's like you can't get out of it because you can't get another loan for 2%. I feel like that's where a lot of these schools are with their coaches, and they don't want to be in that situation moving forward because they need to be a little bit more fluid. So, yeah, I think in the meantime, this is one of those contracts that I still scratch my head why they gave the extension and you know, all that money committed. So, but with that, I short of you finding, you know, a bad email or something, you know, I think Coach is going to be around for at least 2 years.
Well, you kind of hit on something important there, though. Who's under more scrutiny then? Is it Venables or is it the AD who he's got a tradition as arguably the best AD in the country, Joe Castiglione, I can't say it, Castiglione or whatever the hell his name is. But who's under more heat for that contract extension? Because hell, at the time we said, why are they doing this? Yeah, fine, give him a little bit of pay bump, put him in the average of the SEC.
Yeah,
but there was no justification for doing that. There's no justification for giving Venables a $44 million buyout. Mm-mm. I mean, for what reason? I mean, he was not going anywhere. No one was hiring him.
Yeah.
And the rationale was we got, you know, stability, got to help recruiting. Shane, I mean, this ain't the 1990s. I mean, just look, I mean, the recruiting classes from 2 years ago, you're lucky if, you know, half that class is still there.
Mm-hmm.
No one cares about stability. I mean, players are switching left and right with the portal and everything. I mean, that's nonsensical. You know what?
That's kind of like with the Kalen. I wanted to give him credit for a good recruiting class, but you know, every time I pop up the old Twitter, there's a new one jumping in the portal. So I feel like every year, less and less. You know, some of these coaches that and we're going to get to a few of them here in a minute. Some of these coaches that have maybe bad records, we give them. I don't know why we do this, but we give them time because they're a good recruiter or they're good at this or they're good at that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you can't really do that anymore because if you're keeping them, that's one thing, and developing them. But if you're just losing a high percentage of them every year, then who cares you recruit? You're just the first stop of many I mean, look at what's his name? The Georgia kid just jumped in, you know. I mean, hell, he's been at, I think 8 schools now. Has thrown 2 footballs, or the Branch boys down there in Georgia now. It's like, yeah, we want to praise USC when they get them, but who's got them now? Georgia Bulldogs. So, yeah, I feel like when I'm looking at hot seats, I'm kind of reducing the importance or the significance of recruiting anymore.
Cousin Bo, he's an Aggie.
Yeah.
Venables is a keeper. Glad to see OU lost him. I mean, that's when you know it's bad, when the rival fans are happy you gave him that damn extension. You know what?
Yeah. Maybe that's what you do. You know, if you're an AD, just give him a big extension and then go take another job somewhere.
And hey,